officers often can't help but be influenced by the cynicism they feel. A mental shortcut becomes almost irresistible and maybe even rational by some lights. The two young black men on one side of the street look like so many others that officer has locked up. Two white men on the other side of the street, even in the same clothes, do not.
We've all heard the police controversies in Ferguson and around the country with concerns minorities are underrepresented on the force and thereby over-arresting minority citizens. Most recently, as you just heard, the director of the FBI responded. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jem Reek.
And I'm Brittany Pieper. Tonight, we look at the racial divide when it comes to arrests right here in mid-Missouri. Target 8 Chief Investigator Jamie Gray is here to tell us about the findings.
Well, MU graduate student researchers gathered and analyzed data from around Missouri from cities with at least 10,000 people and a black population of at least 10%. In tonight's Target 8 investigation, KOMU 8's Hannah Battaw looks through the database made up of highway patrol numbers as reported by local police departments. Hannah's live at the police station.
Thank you, Jamie. Around 10% of the people who live in Columbia are black. The report shows that for every white person arrest, there are more than 5 black arrests. Experts we talked to agreed the findings could be caused by a number of factors, but do not believe that the findings show that the arrests reflect the racial makeup of actual criminals.
To one MU law professor, higher black to white arrest rates are a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy.
If you say that a certain area is a high crime area, that you're going to devote more resources to that crime area, right? You're going to send more law enforcement. You're going to have more patrols. Well, if you have more patrols, then you're going to have more opportunities to find things.
But that self-fulfilling prophecy may be harder to pick apart than you may think.
It's not just as easy as the arrest rates are just higher because, well, they may be higher because of a number of different factors.
According to experts we talked to, some of the factors could be the types of crimes committed. All crimes are accounted for in the report. The demographic of the police force, 10 of the 163 CPD officers are black, and a general division between authorities and minorities beginning at an early age.
Columbia is really high. African American or black students are, depending on the study, anywhere from 2.5 to 4 times more likely to be suspended than whites for discretionary offenses.
That begins that process again. That begins your further criminal record, right, or your further school record, which makes you more susceptible of being placed on a referral because now you've got a track record, a history to show that in effect you are somehow problematic.
Looking at the numbers, Columbia stood out among Fulton, Jefferson City, Moberly, and Ferguson for its arrest disparity rates.
After several emails and phone calls trying to arrange an interview with the police department, you might be surprised to find out department officials did not want to comment on the report's findings. However, some community officials were not as surprised.
Right now, law enforcement is pretty much they're basically being watched with a very careful and critical eye. What I find sort of disappointing is that I think there are ways in which law enforcement can explain arrest rate disparities.
It's not surprising to me because more than likely if they said anything, they would be supporting. If you were talking about Ferguson, they would be supporting the police officer.
Though disappointed by the numbers, Ratliff says the current police chief has acknowledged the need to work on police-minority relations.
When I asked today for a specific response on the report's findings, a sergeant for the police department still declined to comment. To see the full report, go to our website at KOMU.com. Reporting live from Columbia, Hannah Battaw, KOMU 8 News.
Winter weather was in full force today, so let's check in with Doppler Dave for a look at current conditions.
And those current conditions, Brittany, are getting colder, as you might expect they would this time of the night, but warmer now than they will be a couple of days from now. Let's have a look at our temperatures outdoors. We're at 20 at Jefferson City, 11 in Moberly, Mexico, and Fulton, 12 in Boonville, and Herman has 14 degrees at this hour. As we check our feels like temperature, there's the wind chill. 10 degrees is what it feels like in Jefferson City, 13 at the Lake of the Ozarks. Quite a bit of cloud cover today, a few peaks of sunshine, but the layer of clouds is now rather on the thin side. What we can expect tomorrow morning's low temperature at 14 degrees. Don't be surprised if there's a few flurries flying around, and light snow is possible tomorrow afternoon. As I mentioned, it's going to be cold in the next couple of days. We're going to cover that. But right now, we've got 4 to 5 inches of snow on the ground in Columbia. My colleague Kenton Jewicki is in Storm Patrol 8 checking out the streets.
Yeah, Dave, thank you so much. I am right here in the passenger seat of Storm Patrol 8, and it's already starting to flurry a little bit out there. I've been seeing just in the past hour it has started. Let me show you roads right now. We are in Clark Lane, and you can see roads very nice here on our main roads. But, however, earlier today, this is what streets looked like. Columbia Public Works started at the city limits, working its way towards the city center. Residents were asked to move their cars to help the crews. And this is what one Columbia resident had to say.
I mean, I understand you want to get the main roads first, but you got to hit these residential streets eventually. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it there.
And now I have came off of Clark Lane, and now I'm on a residential road, and you can see it is definitely snow covered. But also, look at this snow. It's very dry, and so it doesn't allow a lot for sticking together, so it's pretty bad for snowball fights and even for building snowmen. However, it's very nice for packing down onto the road, and then as tires go over the top of it, it creates friction, and it actually can create a little bit of an icy surface to it. That's what we're seeing happening right now. So road's still slick, and it's going to be a few days before we see sunshine and especially warmer temperatures. I'll let Dave talk about that a little bit later in his full forecast. I'm weathercaster Kenton Jewicki on the passenger side of Storm Patrol 8. We'll send it back over to you guys at news.
Kenton, thank you very much. And speaking of the weather, the Columbia Fire Department responded to a sledding accident early this evening. It happened on a hill near Forum Boulevard. Crews say a 20-year-old woman was sledding down a hill when she ran into a tree. An ambulance took her to University Hospital at last word. She was in serious condition. Today, Columbia Public Works wrote tickets and towed cars parked on priority routes. A city ordinance mandates cars parked on priority routes must be moved when snow reaches more than 2 inches. Drivers who don't face $100 fines. Plowing an open road is much easier than a road with parked cars. An East Campus resident complains she didn't receive enough warning.
I'm really annoyed, kind of angry. I don't know, I'm just really irritated, I guess. Like, I don't know where they expect me to go.
Public Works uses Facebook and Twitter to keep in contact with the community. The city recommends working out a parking arrangement with neighbors or landlords before the snow starts falling.
Columbia's largest employer gave thousands of workers and students the day off today. MU made the announcement just before 5:30 this morning. The closure did not include employees who are considered what they call situationally critical. Crews were out clearing the roads and sidewalks on campus today. Roads like Hitt Street and Virginia Avenue had snow piled in the middle of the road. MU says classes will be back in session tomorrow. Many schools across the area will reopen tomorrow after today's winter weather. But to stay up to date with the latest closings and delays in mid-Missouri, you can always visit our website, KOMU.com.
Uber drivers have been ticketed for operating within the city of Columbia for the past couple of months. That will change if they follow regulations the city council set tonight. The council voted unanimously to pass new regulations for rideshare services. The regulations include city inspections of Uber vehicles as well as background checks on drivers. An Uber spokesperson says she believes the city is being hostile to ride-sharing companies.
Well, the draft ordinance that we've looked at here tonight in Columbia really is one of the most restrictive ordinances that we've seen in the region. And really the winner here is the taxi industry.
During the meeting, Councilman Trapp voiced his support for the regulations, saying it was time to end a period of lawlessness by Uber.
Still on the agenda for tonight, the council will discuss a new master plan for the Columbia Regional Airport, including a new terminal. Greg Cecil, the chair of the Airport Advisory Board, says the last master plan in 2009 focused on runway improvements, which are now complete. The council members will discuss funding for that master plan. It should include what the terminal will look like, how many gates, and other future plans.
We'll also be looking at capacity, looking to the future for bigger planes, possibly, another airline, which is what we'd love to have as well.
The new terminal itself does not have funding yet, but raising the hotel tax has been suggested as a potential source for the money.
Days after resigning, the principal of a Hannibal elementary school is a wanted man. What police found in his home, that's coming up in 2 minutes.
Plus, an invasive species could make its way onto MU students' lunch plates. We'll explain.
Jefferson City police are searching for a murder suspect. Someone shot Johnny Evans in his East Side apartment yesterday. After managing to get to the next-door neighbor's apartment, he was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. Police do not have any suspects at this time and are searching for a possible motive.
Most likely there's much more to the story. Our part now is to try and find out and track that back as to exactly if there was a relationship, what that relationship was to the shooter or shooters, and then figure out how we can tie this back together to bring this to a closure.
Police are offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. You can call Crime Stoppers at 659-TIPS.
A former Hannibal Elementary School principal is wanted for his connections to a heroin ring just days after he resigned. The former school leader is charged with possession of a controlled substance with the intent to distribute. Kendra Whittle has the story.
The first day I didn't like him.
The grandkids, you know, they would come home and say that he acted funny at school. And
they're talking about J.D. Faust, the former principal here at Hannibal's Stoll Elementary School. His resignation was accepted by the school board on February 2nd. And then just days later, police say they found a large amount of raw heroin, methadone, and drug paraphernalia at Faust's home at 2513 Fulton Avenue. Now Faust is nowhere to be found.
I think everybody kind of had their suspicions, but they just kind of kept it quiet.
As Hannibal school officials keep quiet about the circumstances surrounding Faust's resignation, parents are taking to the WGEM News Facebook page. One mom wrote, quote, "Guess it's time that those working in schools take a drug test also." Another mom chimed in, "I am so sad about this. It's hard to believe Mr. Faust is really involved. I'm in total shock. He really doesn't fit the profile of a drug addict." Faust is a wanted man tonight, charged with possession of a controlled substance with the intent to deliver.
It's kind of scary for the kids that were down there. What kind of impression does it leave for the kids?
At least 4 others were arrested in connection with the drug ring after a month-and-a-half-long investigation.
MU might begin an unusual national trend if it serves Asian carp and puts them on dining hall menus. Asian carp are a nuisance fish causing problems all over the country. They crowd out other species, and their wild jumping can injure boaters. An MU professor hopes a culinary approach will solve an environmental issue.
One of the things I thought about was to maybe eat the fish. Maybe we could do that, you know, not necessarily eat it into extinction, but just eat it and reduce the populations by that way.
If MU were to serve Asian carp in the dining halls, it would be the first university in the country to do so.
Take a look at this, a massive explosion in West Virginia. How the train derailment impacted nearby towns.
Snow and wind caused problems for firefighters in Philadelphia. Your national news after the break.
Hey, welcome back. It's 16 after 10 o'clock. There's a look at our first alert weather cam. The snowy banks of Highway 63, just a little south of Columbia there. Although the traffic didn't have any problem getting going, as the streets were cleared pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and take a look at our present conditions. Skies are mostly cloudy at the present time, 19 degrees. We have an 8-mile-per-hour wind out there, so that's contributing to your discomfort on this Monday evening. It's 20 at Jefferson City, 19 at the Lake of the Ozarks. Macon and Moberly, 16 and 11, respectively. Boonville at 12. Let's check Mexico and Fulton, both coming in at about 11 and 12 degrees over in Audrain and in Callaway County. All right, here's the wind. They're coming at you from the west at 8 miles per hour. No surprise there. So the wind chill makes it feel like about 9 or 10 degrees out there at the present time. So it could be worse. On the radar and satellite composite, obviously the snow moved out of the area, thank goodness, but not before it dropped about 4.5, 5 inches in Columbia. And the heavier amount was over by Montgomery City. 9 inches there, 10 inches in Bellflower, just east of Montgomery City. Quite a bit of cloud cover over central Missouri at the present time. Although tomorrow I think we'll see mostly cloudy skies, but we'll also see a couple of breaks in the clouds, giving us a little bit of sunshine. But the big weather maker for the next couple of days is this cold front. This is the position I estimated it's going to be around midnight tonight. By tomorrow morning, it will be down on the southern border, or right around Missouri-Arkansas border. And that means all of this cold air is going to be infiltrating into central sections of Missouri. So even while tomorrow's high will be in the low to mid-20s, that's going to be relatively short-lived as we have some really cold weather coming into the picture on Wednesday and Thursday. As we take a look at the cloud cover, by the time you're out the door and driving to work tomorrow morning, it'll be mostly on the cloudy side. Don't be surprised if you see a flurry here and there. And the same applies to the drive home tomorrow afternoon, 4:30, 5 o'clock. There could easily be a few snow flurries developing in from the north and northwest. Don't expect any additional accumulation, but visibility at times could be a little bit hindered by a few flakes falling. Again, we'll see some sunshine, though, by the time we get into Wednesday, but Wednesday is going to be very cold. Here's a look at that live Doppler rate first alert forecast for you tonight. Mostly cloudy. Wind chill tonight down in the low single digits. We'll have a 14-degree low temperature, maybe even colder in some areas, depending on the thickness of the cloud cover. Then for the day tomorrow, it's Tuesday. It's going to be mostly cloudy, and a few flurries are possible. 24 for the high temperature tomorrow. Then that cold front sinks in, and the cold weather takes over. 5 degrees for your Wednesday morning low temperature, with a high temperature on Ash Wednesday at 11. Then probably 3 below zero on Thursday morning with a high temperature at 19. The good news is we'll have some sunshine on Thursday, and then we moderate back into the 30s by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday, by the way, provides us perhaps with another chance for snow, but it's way too far off to tell what's going to be happening then.
3 below.
Yes.
That gets your attention very quickly.
Stay in bed.
All right. Dave, thank you very much. Charges are filed in the North Carolina triple murder case from last week. Police are still debating the motive.
Plus, a Dallas-based company suing Lance Armstrong reaches a settlement. How much will it cost the former cyclist? Those stories coming up.
But first, your lottery numbers. Good luck.
Local university is getting ready for a food drive, and it's driving its promotion with the help of a movie trilogy with hunger in its name.
Tomorrow is a day given to random acts of kindness. One community in Jefferson City is prepared.
And as we say adios to the snow, we say hello to very cold temperatures. We'll talk all about the tumbling temperatures here on a Tuesday.
Each morning, a look at your top national and international stories in the day ahead.
Plus, the news as it happens in your new and now. Join us tomorrow and every weekday for KOMU 8 News Today.
In national news tonight, the man who police say killed 3 Muslim college students in North Carolina is facing murder charges. Craig Hicks was indicted on 3 counts of first-degree murder. Police believe the man's motive was a parking dispute, but they're not ruling out the possibility of a hate crime. Hicks is scheduled to make a court appearance early next month. The FBI is also investigating the case.
A train carrying crude oil derailed in West Virginia today, forcing residents in 2 nearby towns to evacuate. The crude oil burst into a huge fireball when the train went off the tracks 30 miles southeast of Charleston. One of the tanker cars plowed into a home before bursting into flames, and another plunged into the river. It's believed all 109 train cars were carrying crude oil. Cold temperatures and snowfall made the cleanup efforts difficult. And gusting winds and snowfall disrupted rescue efforts across the country today. A 3-story building in Philadelphia that caught fire this morning now sits under layers of ice. The upper floors were reportedly empty and slated for renovation, but neighbors still had to be evacuated in order to put out the blaze. One witness said it looked like the whole block was on fire.
Lance Armstrong will pay a heavy price to settle a fraud dispute. Armstrong will pay $10 million to Dallas-based SCA Promotions. A panel ruled 2-1 the former cyclist will return most of the money the company paid him during his career, which totals about $12 million. His 7 Tour de France titles were stripped away after he and his team used performance-enhancing drugs. The Houston Fire Department announced today an arrest has been made in connection with a fire at an Islamic center. 55-year-old Daryl Ferguson has been charged with first-degree arson after the fire at the Kuba Islamic Institute. No one was injured in that fire.
One of the best trios to ever play football at Missouri reunited off the field over the weekend. We'll take a look back at their recognition next in sports.
Now from the Ford Sports Desk, KOMU 8 Sports.
Hello, everyone. Missouri pitcher Reggie McClain is the SEC Pitcher of the Week. McClain, a junior, made a smashing debut for the Tigers last Friday against Iona. He threw 8 scoreless innings, struck out 10, and allowed only 3 hits as Missouri shut out Iona 1-0. The Tiger baseball team has started its season 4-0. Missouri basketball coach Kim Anderson has reinstated freshman guard Tremaine Isabel to the team, and Isabel will be available to play when the Tigers visit 18th-ranked Arkansas Wednesday night. Isabel had been suspended and has not played in the Tigers' last 5 games. Meanwhile, a reunion for a trio of former Tiger football greats. KOMU 8's Eduardo Gonzalez reports on some new Mizzou Hall of Famers.
Comes up the middle, Daniel, low snap, throws it left side, Kaufman, touchdown Missouri, as he beat the defender.
The big three from the team that was the top-ranked team at one point in the 2007 season is now in the Mizzou Athletics Hall of Fame. Quarterback Chase Daniel, receiver Jeremy Macklin, and tight end Chase Kaufman all say the Tigers are on a track of continued success.
They're already competing for a national championship year in and year out. When you're playing in the SEC title game back-to-back years, you're doing something right as a program. So they're just a hair away, and I think that, you know, Coach Pinkel right now is building the ship the right way. And getting the right players, recruiting very well, and making those players, once they get them in this building, making them even better.
But one member of the trio says his team played a role in paving the way for today's teams.
I like to think that, myself, Chase, kind of has something to do with that. And I think, we kind of, set the standard, set the bar, and I think we've intrigued people to come here, and now, it's gone to the next level, and now they're competing and dominating SEC play.
All three said it's extra special to be back here at Faroe, where they have many great memories. But their favorite memory, however, did not come here. It came at Arrowhead.
Everybody remembers the KU game at Arrowhead with my man with the grass in his helmet.
Without a doubt, the Armageddon game at Arrowhead. Winner gets #1 in the nation and goes on to play Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game.
Daniel says that game took MU to the next step of competition, and we are witnessing that level now. Eduardo Gonzalez, KOMU 8 Sports, Columbia.
Eduardo, thank you, and that's sports.
It was a snowy President's Day here in Missouri, but that didn't stop people from celebrating.
I was enjoying that last story. A blast from the past is coming up after the break.
The Truman Presidential Library in Independence celebrated the holiday with 2 special guests today. Harry S. Truman and Thomas Jefferson impersonators showed up for President's Day celebrations and held a joint press conference. The 2 spent time with guests who learned about Truman's presidency. The library also served up some of the favorite cookies of the former presidents.
And what does the S stand for? Didn't stand for anything. That was just his initial. Oh. Yeah. All right. Coming up on KOMU 8 News today, starting at 4:30 a.m., MoDOT is looking to add signs around Jefferson City to help drivers find their way.
We'll have a preview of the new initiative designed to help drivers around the city and stay safe. Plus, we'll continue to update the latest weather and closings on our website, KOMU.com.
And weather-wise, going to be chilly. In fact, it already is, as we're going to head down to about 14 degrees for tomorrow morning, with the possibility of a few flurries flying. Tomorrow afternoon, 24 for the afternoon high. And the big news in the weather is the Wednesday and Thursday morning low temperatures. Not very pretty as we get down to maybe 3 below 0 on Thursday morning. Bundle up.
3 below.
How many layers do you think you have to wear?
That's about 5 layers right there. That's our time for now. Thanks for joining us.
And a bowl of oatmeal, yeah.